What's up everybody, Couch Mills here, and today we gotta cover all the crazy changes to Chamber because they really hit him in a ton of different ways, and it's gonna make a huge impact over the meta. So we're gonna break it all down, but first I wanna introduce you to the sponsor of this video, Buff. Buff is a gamer's reward program where you earn real-life items for simply playing your favorite games, and it has over 9 million users. Now, simply while playing games with Buff downloaded, you could earn things like Steam credits, Riot Point credits, V-Bucks, skins, you name it, and you could all redeem it for free for your favorite game. Now, Buff is incredibly safe to use, no resource hogging, no mining, or anything else fishy. And with Buff's new latest update, you can actually record your highlights, edit them, and post them to their Discover feature, where gamers can share their tactics, highlights, funny moments, and epic clutches. Being able to just simply play the games you already love and earn Buff points that get you free stuff in-game is like a dream come true, and Buff makes that a reality, so you're not gonna want to miss out on this incredible offer. We're gonna give away 1,000 Buff points to 10 lucky viewers, and all you need to do is comment your new Buff username, and we're gonna choose 10 of you to give you extra Buff points for absolutely free. Now, there's never been a better time to get in on Buff, so if you want those new Valorant skins for absolutely free, what are you waiting for? Go check out Buff right now in the description down below. Now, it's been pretty obvious that Chamber has been meta defining at the very least. Not only is he one of the most picked characters in pro play, but he also is one of the most picked characters in ranked play, and he fundamentally changes how Valorant is played. Chamber is a character that you have to intentionally bait out, force him off angles in order to push objectives, and while in some ways it makes the community a bit more disciplined over time, Chamber's a character that has been incredibly powerful for a bit too long. Basically, since he's been released, he's been one of the best, if not the best characters in the game, and while we've gotten nerfs in the past, Riot has come back with the PBE and hit him quite hard in an effort to actually make a dent in his pick rate. So while I'm talking about all these changes, think about whether or not they will actually affect his play rate, and let's start off with his ultimate nerfs. The fire rate is reduced by 57.5%, the slow size reduced by 30%, and the slow duration reduced from 6 to 4 seconds, the slow effect reduced from 50% to 40%. So yeah, that's actually crazy. That's a ton. That's a ton of shit that they're actually hitting. The fire rate being reduced is absolutely huge, and it looks like it puts it right in line with a regular operator, or maybe even a bit slower. So yeah, it's not even a quickscope sniper rifle anymore, and this is a gigantic nerf by itself, in my personal opinion, because his ultimate was obviously incredibly strong. But if you only did this, Chamber could still post up on an angle with an op, get a pick, teleport out. It wouldn't fundamentally change his character to the point where he would be unplayable or anything like that, but this is not the only change we got a lot more. So next up is his rendezvous. Chamber can now teleport to one anchor while it's in their range. Increased weapon equip time after teleporting from 0.4 to 0.7 seconds. Once teleporter is destroyed, it will be disabled for the rest of the round. No more cooldown. More rendezvous changes. Remove TP activation height. TP range increased from 15 meters to 26 meters. No more additional cooldown after recalling his anchor after teleporting. Now, yes, Chamber could still hold an angle, teleport away, and he could do it for once in a game. But the reality of the situation is you're not going to be able to reset up later on, and there's a ton of other limiting factors, including the fact that after you teleport, you're going to have a longer weapon equip time, meaning that you're not going to be able to duel nearly as fast after you teleport. And if anyone ever finds your teleporter and destroys it, you just don't get to teleport for the rest of the game. These are some really massive changes, especially when you combine them to the ultimate nerfs. This would be a sizable amount of changes that would actually hurt Chamber for the meta. I think that this alone would make it so he's pretty weak, and sure, he would probably still see a substantial amount of play, but this would hurt him quite a bit. But we're not done. We still got more to go. So Chamber's trademark, Trap, is now range restricted. Trap will be disabled when he's out of range. So Trap can be recalled mid-round, and it's going to be on a 30-second cooldown on recall. Trap health increased from 1 to 20, and initial startup time increased from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. So this is a little bit different because in some ways this is a nerf. I mean, ultimately this is going to feel like a nerf. The fact that you have to be in range to keep it enabled is a big cost, but it's also cool that if you rotate back, you can pick it up, put it back somewhere else later on. So on some maps, I'm thinking like Icebox, right? You put it on the flank, no one takes the flank, you rotate from A to B, you get to pick it up on the way there, and then at some point you get to throw it down to give you some extra utility mid-round. That's all good, and I think that that's pretty powerful, but it's gonna depend on how much the range is being restricted. And even if it's just restricted a little bit, the fact that you can't use Trademark as a reliable flank catcher, even if you're lurking somewhere completely different, means that you can't provide that extra bit of value to your team. So this change might be incredibly brutal to Chamber, but it also gives him a little bit more options. But all in all, I'm gonna say it's a nerf. And yeah, with all of those, you're like, all right, have they given my boy enough? No, they haven't. They're nerfing him even more. Chamber slow and Headhunter changes. Headhunter spread increased after second bullet while spamming. Overall slow changes affects all slows, trap, and ult. Slow effect reduced from 50% to 40%. Slow duration reduced from 6 seconds to 4 seconds. And slow size reduced by 30%. Now some of these were already covered previously, but really that Headhunter spread increased after second bullet while spamming means that you're not going to be able to reliably spam this weapon. But just like with the trap distance example, until we know the actual numbers of this spread, we're not gonna know fully how brutal this will be, and a lot of this is just gonna have to be felt. Like, you're gonna have to feel it and take a look for yourself and see how this feels in game and how this feels when you're spamming this or shooting multiple bullets in a row. But all in all, Chamber is getting fucking hit hard. Like, holy shit, they are hitting him really, really, really hard. And I kind of knew that this was coming because they have tried to nerf him multiple times. They've touched him a little bit here and a little bit there, and it wasn't enough. And I know a lot of the community is saying, hey, Chamber's fine, stop nerfing Chamber, but it's obvious that Riot does not want a Chamber meta to continue. Like, Chamber can be a character that is played, but they do not want a Chamber-dominated meta for their esports, especially as we approach franchising. And of course, Chamber has been the most powerful character in the game since he's been released. Like, I think that every character should potentially get their time in the sun. And if a character is dominant for too long, we have never seen a character just stay dominant forever. There's always something that comes in to hit them, whether it was Sage, whether it was Jett, whether it was Sova. Like, this is just the balanced philosophy of Riot. They're not just gonna proceed in a world where Chamber is the best agent in the game forever. At some point, they were gonna hit him, and they tried already, and it wasn't enough, so now they're coming in more heavy-handed. Don't miss out on getting an insane new Valorant skin using the buff links right now down below.